Hey guys, most people don't know this, but Vikings, the same people who treated shipbuilding like a competitive sport and casually wrestled nature every day, slept better than almost anyone today, better than people with memory foam thrones, better than people with 10-step bedtime routines, better than people who track their sleep like it's the stock market. And the strange part, the reason they slept so well is incredibly simple, and you might already be doing pieces of it tonight without realizing. Before we go deeper, let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. Now imagine this. You step into a Viking longhouse in winter. The door closes behind you, and instantly your eyes widen because the darkness hits you like a gentle wave. Not the modern kind where something is always glowing or buzzing or leaking light through a curtain. This is total peaceful darkness. Darkness that feels like it's actually holding you. There's a low red glow from a fire in the center of the room. Not bright, not sharp, just a warm pulse of light that flickers softly across wooden beams darkened by years of smoke. You can almost feel your own breathing syncing with the room. Your brain does something surprising. It relaxes in a way that feels ancient, natural, familiar, because humans were built for this darkness. We slept in it for thousands of years. No notifications, no blue light, just night. Drop your city or state in the comments if you're feeling your own room starting to settle around you the way that Longhouse does. Now look around. Along the walls, you see raised wooden benches covered in thick furs and fresh straw. People, grandparents, cousins, neighbors are stretched out shoulder to shoulder. 15 or 20 of them, all breathing in a slow, warm rhythm. It's strangely comforting, not crowded, like being inside one giant heartbeat. The funniest thing is they didn't sleep straight through the night. To a Viking, waking up in the middle of the night wasn't a crisis. It wasn't a sign of stress. It was just part of the night, as natural as the fire crackling, as expected as snow in winter. They slept a few hours, woke gently, stretched like cats in furs, and wandered into a soft little hour they called the watch. A quiet intermission, a breath in the middle of the night. Some people tended the fire. Some whispered stories. Some prayed. Some carved wood. Some reached for the person beside them with a smile that didn't need words. Some just sat, letting the warm dark settle deeper in their bones. And then, when their bodies felt heavy again, they simply lay back down and sank into a second sleep deeper than the first. A long, slow drop into darkness, so calm it feels like drifting underwater. If a part of your mind just said, "Wait, that actually sounds better than what I do every night," hit subscribe so you don't have to go searching for tomorrow's story when your pillow calls you back. You move closer to one of the benches and brush your hand across the fur. It's warm, thick, soft in a rugged, natural way. The straw under it shifts with a quiet crunch, clean, fresh, springy. No sagging, no mystery lumps, just a firm, angled bed that keeps your chest slightly lifted and your spine humming happy little thank you notes. You lie down, and instantly the weight of the fur settles across your body like it has opinions about your comfort. A good kind of opinion. Someone next to you shifts in their sleep. Another sighs. A baby lets out one soft whimper and is soothed instantly. by a hand that doesn't even fully wake. You feel the warmth of all those bodies, the glow of the fire, the absolute darkness pressing gently against your eyes, and something deeper clicks into place. Something that says, "Oh, this is what rest used to feel like." In this world, no one is optimizing sleep. No one is grading it. No one is counting hours like their currency. They simply live hard in daylight, grow tired with the earth, and let the night take them when it's ready. If that thought alone is already loosening something inside you, comment one weird history fact you love. I read them every morning with coffee, and they always make my day better than it probably should be. Back in the longhouse, someone sprinkles dried valerian root or chamomile or hops onto the embers. The smoke curls upward with a warm, earthy sweetness. It fills the air, slips into your breath, nudges your eyelids lower. All natural. No fuss. Just herbs they gathered because life taught them what worked. Someone passes you a small cup with a warm drink honey, herbs, maybe a little ale. You sip it, and it settles into your stomach like a warm stone wrapped in wool. Across the longhouse, someone tells a soft story. You don't need to understand the words. The rhythm alone does something to your heartbeat. It slows. It deepens. It falls into that steady Viking tempo that carried people through storms and snow and long, long nights. If your pillow is getting warmer, or if your body is sinking just a little deeper into the mattress, just let it. Now step with me outside the longhouse for a moment. You push open the heavy door and the winter air touches your face like a quiet shock, cold enough to wake you for a breath, but gentle in its own way. The snow glows under the moon, sparkling like a field of tiny frozen lanterns. The world is silent, truly silent. You breathe in once. Your lungs expand against the cold. The stars above you are so bright they look close enough to pick up. Then you step back inside. The warmth wraps around you instantly. The fire glows low. The longhouse murmurs with soft sleep. People are already settling in for that delicious second sleep. And that is where we'll keep drifting in. The long, warm descent. The slow melting sentences. The heavy Viking darkness carrying you under. And so the travelers pressed on, deeper into that strange and shifting maze, guided now by the soft glow of the amber stone and the faint hum it gave off whenever danger crawled near. It wasn't loud, just a pulse, like a heartbeat that wasn't theirs. Each time it thumped, they felt an instinctive urge to be still and listen, because the deeper they walked, the more it became clear that this place wasn't abandoned. It was watching, considering, testing. The air grew warmer in certain pockets, cold in others, as though something ancient kept inhaling and exhaling behind the walls. Even the dust on the floor seemed too deliberate, too undisturbed, as if the last footsteps it recorded belonged to things that didn't walk like humans at all. Eventually, the corridor widened into a chamber shaped like a perfect circle, the domed ceiling painted with celestial patterns far older than any star chart known today. Constellations appeared that no longer exist, or possibly haven't yet. Some shone with crushed mineral that caught the light of the travelers' torches and scattered it like falling snow, and carved into the stone floor, forming a spiral that led toward the center were hundreds of names, some recognizable from folklore, some forgotten by time, and some in scripts so alien the travelers felt their minds ache trying to read them. In the center sat the source of the warmth, an ancient metal basin filled with embers that refused to die. They glowed faintly, as if fueled by memory instead of fuel. One of the travelers reached a hand near it, not touching, just feeling. He pulled back instantly. "It's warm like fire," he whispered, "but it doesn't burn. It feels more like a thought." And the others, curious, stepped closer. When they did, the embers flared once, then settled again, as if acknowledging the attention. The hum of the amber stone quieted. The chamber held its breath, and then they heard it, a low, resonant echo from somewhere beyond the walls. Not a growl, not a rumble. Something older, something tired, as if a creature the size of a mountain had just shifted in its sleep. The walls themselves trembled. Dust trickled down in thin, lazy streams. The embers pulsed once more, the same slow rhythm as the echo, like two hearts beating together. And for the first time, the travelers understood the truth. This place wasn't a tomb. It wasn't a ruin. It was a cradle. Something had been laid to rest here long before their ancestors ever walked the earth. And despite the ages stacked upon ages, it hadn't fully drifted into silence. It merely slept. One traveler whispered, "We should go." Another whispered, "We should stay." But the one holding the amber stone simply stepped forward, closer to the embers, guided by a pull he couldn't quite explain. The chamber dimmed. The constellations overhead began to shift, slowly rotating, aligning themselves into a pattern that torchlight had not revealed before. A spiral, just like the names on the floor, pointing toward the center, toward the embers, toward him. A thin ribbon of warmth curled around his ankles like smoke. And then the voice returned, not spoken aloud, but inside the mind, deeper, clearer, older than language. It wrapped around them all, slow and heavy, like the turning of an ancient door that had not been opened in eons. The voice spoke not as a threat, but as a weary keeper addressing unexpected visitors. "You have carried the spark." The embers pulsed. "But do you understand what it wakes?" A rumble, gentle but enormous, rolled through the chamber. More felt than heard. The travelers staggered, not in fear but in awe, anchored by the soft glow of the stone now, shining like a sunrise inside the traveler's palm. The chamber brightened. Dust lifted from the floor as if gravity itself eased its grip. The walls expanded, not physically, but perceptually, as though the space remembered how vast it once had been. Shadows contracted into neat lines. The ceiling opened into a star field deeper than any telescope could reach. And the travelers felt for one strange moment like they were standing at the intersection of every age the universe had ever lived through. Then the embers rose. Not quickly, they didn't flare like flames, but gently, like lanterns lifting in slow motion. They drifted upward, swirling together into a spiral that mirrored the carvings on the floor. The spiral tightened, brightened, folded inward, and from the heart of that glowing vortex emerged the shape of a creature made of ember light and memory, wings like molten glass, eyes like cooled volcanic stone, a form at once dragon-like and yet not bound to any single legend. It watched them with the calm, slow intelligence of something that measures time in millennia. But it did not roar. It did not threaten. Instead, it lowered its glowing head in recognition. "You came," the voice echoed inside them, gentle as drifting ash. "At last you came." The travelers stood frozen, breath caught between awe and disbelief. And for the first time, they understood what the voice meant. Earlier, the spark they carried was the amber stone itself. A seed, a key, a memory shard of the creature's own fire, lost ages ago and finally returned to its resting place. The creature extended one vast, shimmering wing toward them, not aggressively, but invitingly. It wanted the ember seed back, not to consume, but to become whole, to finish the long cycle that had been paused, suspended, waiting for hands brave or foolish enough to bring it home. The traveler stepped forward, slowly, reverently, and when he placed the stone into the creature's waiting light, the entire chamber bloomed with warmth, not burning, not blinding, just an overwhelming sense of peace, like the world taking a long breath after holding it for far too many lifetimes. The walls softened. The constellations faded back into stillness. Dust settled. The creature bowed once, then folded gently into itself, the glowing form collapsing inward like a star easing back into slumber. The embers settled into the basin again, brighter now, whole, and then the voice faded, leaving behind only the faint echo of gratitude, drifting through the chamber like a final sigh. "Sleep now, for I will." And with that, the ancient place returned to silence, not oppressive, not ominous, but comforting. A resting silence, a safe silence, a silence that held no threat, only the soft certainty that the cycle had closed. And all was finally well. The travelers exhaled as one, the lingering warmth wrapped around them like a blanket, easing tension they hadn't realized they carried. Their thoughts softened, their footsteps slowed, and as they made their way back through the winding corridors, the air felt lighter, clearer, as though the labyrinth itself was guiding them gently toward the surface again. By the time they emerged into the cool night, the stars above looked a little softer. The moon is a little warmer, and the road ahead quieter. And as you drift now, letting your breath slow, letting your thoughts soften the same way theirs did, just know that some stories don't end with a battle, or a moral, or a revelation. Some stories end the way ancient guardians sleep, quietly, patiently, and with the kind of peace that settles into your bones and whispers that, for now, everything is all right. Just breathe and drift and rest.